What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and today I'm back to talk to you about Warhammer 40K, but more specifically, the new rules for 9th edition. Lately, they did a faction focus for the Gene Stealer cults, and within the epicness that is the cults of the Stealers of Genes, they have given us a new change, and it's a pretty big one, because it has to do with unit coherency. For the longest time, whenever I heard of unit coherency, I would always remember the meme, the post that originated quite a long time ago, where people would literally just conga line entire units to basically screen the opponent from not being able to get into close combat, from not being able to charge into other units, and overall it was a very sucky tactic that you just kind of had to ignore. Not just that, but you could really use and abuse unit coherency. One way to take advantage of this was to have your HQ tucked away somewhere behind cover and just conga line a unit of like 30 orc boys or like a huge mob of Tyranids and just be able to charge your opponent. And even though like that conga line is like 12 inches long as you're within 6 inches of the HQ, you would still be getting the benefits of your rerolls and whatnot. That was really scummy. I mean, I guess it was smart because you were playing to the rules, but yeah, that really sucked. And not just that, but there's a whole bunch of like awkward and interesting ways that like you would remove models. So essentially you'd conga line there, and you'd remove models in a way where you'd still get the buffs and still be able to get the charge or get the range in to shoot. And overall, it was just a weird, interesting rule that we just kind of had to like overlook and overcome. So let's actually get into what unit coherency has become in 9th edition. So it states that a unit that has more than one model must be set up and finish any sort of move as a simple group, with all models within 2 inches horizontally and 5 inches vertically of at least one other model in their unit. However, if a unit has 6 or more models, all models must be, instead of 2 inches horizontally and 5 vertically, of at least 2 other models from that unit. So if you have more than 6, they gotta be at least 2 inches from each other, or at least 2 other models. That is called unit coherency. If a unit cannot end any kind of move in unit coherency, that move cannot be made. So that's a huge one right there. Units are primarily moved in the movement phase, but they can also be moved in the charge phase as well as the fight phase. And some rules allow you to add models to a unit during the battle, and such models must always be set up in a unit with coherency in mind. Sometimes there will be insufficient room to set up all models, or it will not be possible to set up all the models so they are in coherency. When that's the case, any models that cannot be set up are considered to have been destroyed. This is very important with like the reanimation rolls for the Necrons, but more so for any unit that is inside of a transport. If a transport blows up and you have to disembark, if you can't disembark in a way that you're not like within, I believe it's an inch of an enemy model and 3 inches of the wrecked vehicle, then you're gonna end up running into some trouble. So to summarize the rule, unit coherency is 2 inches horizontally and 5 inches vertically. Each model must be in coherency with one other model from their own unit, unless that unit has 6 or more models. Then that unit has to be in coherency with 2 other models. So just a simplified version of that rule. So since we're talking about unit coherency, you have the unit coherency check, which states, each player must now remove models, one at a time, from any of their units in their armies that are no longer in coherency, until only a single group of models from that unit remains in play and in coherency. The models removed count as being destroyed, but they never trigger any rules that are used when a model is destroyed. Models removed because of this do not cause their unit to take another morale test. And once again, to summarize, remove models from units in your army that are not in unit coherency. Once all out of coherency models have been removed, if any, the morale phase then ends. The player's turn then ends, and unless the battle ends, the next player turn begins. So once again, guys, the rules are changing to make this edition much more brutal, and just the models are going to be flying off the table at an insurmountable rate, because now you can't really screen your entire deployment zone and forego your opponent from deep striking in your backlines. Placement of your models are going to be that much more important. So if you have a stratagem or an ability that lets you redeploy, that's going to be huge. If you're playing a deep striking army, that might be to your benefit, because now you have your opponent's army more spread out in order to lock you out of deep strike. There's a lot of pre-planning that has to go on when you play your games, and that's really cool. Long gone are the times when you can string up Kroot all along your board edge to deny outflankers. So that's going to be interesting to see how the meta changes to accommodate for these rules. I play Tau, so I'm happy to see this rule come in because it seems to be very beneficial to us. We won't be able to... well, I guess I never really conga lined because I played Farsight and I like to deep strike a lot. So I guess that's in my favor now that the Gersh's orcs will have to be better positioned. He actually has to think about where his named characters are at, where his blobs of orc boys, where he's removing them from, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And a little bit earlier, I talked about the whole positioning of models when they come out of a vehicle that's been destroyed. And at the very end of this article, which is down in the link below if you want to read it, there's actually a core stratagem called Emergency Disembarkation. Is that a word? It's only one command point, and it reads as such. Use this stratagem when a transport model from your army is destroyed. All units that are embarked within that model can be set up wholly within 6 inches of the destroyed model when they disembark, instead of the normal 3 inch, before the model itself is removed from the battlefield. These units are not affected by the destroyed model explodability. That's really good. Instead, you must roll 1d6 for each model you just set up on your battlefield, and instead of one model that disembarked from your choice being destroyed for each roll of 1, only one model that disembarked your choice is destroyed for each roll of a 1 or 2. So, I mean, I guess it's good, but at the same time a little bit more riskier. Units cannot declare a charge or perform a heroic intervention in the same turn that they disembarked from a destroyed transport model. Lots of new things to think about, guys. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think so far. It seems to be going in a direction that favors the bold. So, are you happy about these new disembark rules? Are you happy about the new no conga line anymore? And maybe this means that 40k is moving to a position where you can just buy movement trays for your models. Probably not, because you still have the whole issue of like terrain and what counts as being in terrain, what isn't in terrain, line of sight and all that stuff. I mean, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, we had that huge wall of text for terrain and what does it mean, are you in it, is it 3 inches or taller and all that. So a lot of things to think about. July is right around the corner, and that's when the new box set for 9th edition will be released, and I can't wait for that. Can't wait to hold the rulebook in my hand and just go over it, because my Celestial Sons, which I was playing as Blood Angels, I'm going to switch it over. I'm going to be playing Grey Knights now, and I really want to get good at playing Grey Knights. I heard that they got a whole bolster of abilities with the Ritual of the Damned for the Psychic Awakening, and I've been reading into that and seeing new strategies and whatnot, so I'm diving into the Grey Knights hard. So I might be shelving my Tau and Chaos for a little bit to focus on the Knights of Titan, and we'll see how that goes. So again, 9th edition is looking to be really brutal. Can't wait for it. Let me know your thoughts below. If you want to read more about this, link to the article for the Warhammer community page is down in the description. As always, guys, this is the Sound Alchemist from One Mind Syndicate, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.